Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mid-Season Brawl for our second series of the day. And we've already had an absolute blinder of a first series. Just in case you missed that one, you need to go back and watch that between Ballistics and Tempo Storm. To my left-hand side, I am joined by Trixler, Kaldor, Tetcher, and together, quite aptly, here with an all-EU desk-ish, we have, of course, our EU versus EU.
That did not take long.
We adopted him.
Yeah,
we adopted him.
He's us. He's us now.
I think I'm part Swedish now.
Was it Sweden?
Yeah, Swedish fish.
Oh, okay. Is there like, what is your Swedish name? Do you have a Swedish name?
Yes. I don't know it though.
He has no
What's
clue.
my Swedish name?
He even knows a little bit of German now.
Yeah,
Tell him
danke.
What?
Danke.
Jeez.
It means thank you.
All right, let's move back on. Of course, we're going to be bringing you this EU versus EU matchup here for the Mid-Season Brawl, and it is going to be a good one, a storied and rivaled history here between the two teams, as Fnatic is going to go up against Dignitas. Let's take a look at the schedule before we get into the nitty-gritty of things, and you can see here that we have a few more series left to go. If everything goes 5 games, then we're going to be here until about 4 AM, which will be nice anyway, as later on we're going to have West going up against East in that All-Stars matchup that we had last night. I saw that you guys had a lot of fun with that one, but we have some very serious series to come here as well. Fnatic going up against Dignitas. Don't know why I got there. That was weird. And it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, you mentioned the All-Stars event. We actually saw a big team up there of Maina and Snitch, ex-teammates,
Yeah.
but now they have to throw away all of that rekindled friendship as they now come in as bitter and sorted rivals. A rematch of last year where they were in fact on the same team, but it is, as we already mentioned, a rematch of last year's finals.
And the interesting part is also that when we're looking at the history of the two teams, it is a complete reverse the entire time. You look at 2017, and from all the games that were played, Dignitas lost every single one except for a single match at the beginning of the year. And then you look at 2018, and the exact reverse happens. Fnatic is just getting stomped left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And at this point, Dignitas comes in as the favorite. But when you have two teams going up against each other that know each other this well, anything can happen.
History definitely plays a part in today's matchup, and that's what's so enjoyable about this matchup, is these two know each other. Sure, we've had players mixed in and mixed out, we've had different rosters, but Dignitas and Fnatic has been a story tale for so long that just getting ready for today's series gets exciting and pumped. Like, I'm ready for it to start, Claire's. Can you just start it right now, please?
I mean, I could potentially summon the teams to the stage when I have my cue, and then when that happens, it shall begin. So I need to wait for a moment, but we can keep talking about this. One thing that's important is that Dignitas has come in as a team that looks like the biggest and strongest representation of EU, correct?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a couple of reasons for it. Now, first of all, we know that Method coming in and also Fnatic have already made decisions that after this event, they're going to change their lineup. So that played a huge role in that. But the more important part is that Dignitas has dominated the entire European season in 2018. And they played fantastic ever since the roster swaps after BlizzCon. They went to GCWC, played a fantastic tournament there, and continued that trend throughout the European versus Europe matches. And so they're definitely the strongest European team at this point.
Yeah, I'm expecting that to be repeated in today's matchup against Fnatic, which kind of worries me a little bit, because Dignitas, as said by some of the Koreans we interviewed them, it felt like Dignitas was the best in Europe, but they have been pulled back a little bit by the other teams, as they weren't as high caliber as Dignitas has performed for the last few months. So I'm wanting to see Dignitas do really well today, but if they're at the same level of Fnatic, that makes me worried for future matches against more Koreans, because against Genji, we had a hard time for Dig.
Yeah, it was a really rough time, and the fact is, Dignitas are coming off of a loss here. Fnatic already coming off of what was a very close reverse sweep win versus Method, where in the early games, they looked like they were struggling a little bit, but in the later games, Dignitas were, Fnatic were able to bring it back, but Dignitas, they were close to beating Genji, but that's got to feel bad getting shut down after so many good attempts.
Well, Trick, it's time. You've pushed me far enough, it's fine, as we are going to welcome our two teams to the stage. So without further ado, it's Fnatic going up against Dignitas. A very storied rivalry between these two teams as they make their way onto the stage now. And of course, Fnatic, the previous 2017 Mid-Season Brawl champions with a different roster, all mind you, but Dignitas here with a roster that is very different as well from the final that we saw in 2017, but they are looking fearsome to try and propel themselves to the very top here, representing Europe.
Exactly, and one of the things I talked about yesterday when we had the desk, when Dignitas played against Gen G and lost that series, is that I feel that going forward in a tournament, European teams have always done a great job adapting within a series, but also within the tournament itself whenever they meet a team again. And that was echoed by Snitch in the interview after the match. He said, we learned a lot from the series, and we feel that if we can make our way through the lower bracket and face off against Gen G again in the grand final, we are sure that we will come out way stronger and that we will bring them a real fight. And that's why I feel they see this as a stepping stone.
There's always the factor of a deep pocket of strategies as well. We saw that at the Western Clash last year with Dignitas pulling out the Tron, Kel'Thas, Stitches type of compositions. And so we're starting to get to that point in the tournament where for both Fnatic and Dignitas, I'm ready to see what they have learned, what they are going to reveal to us, because we always know they got something floating around back there, and now that might be the time for it to come out, for Fnatic in particular.
Literally every tournament that Stitches does come out, but like you said, it's always something else alongside it as well. And with Fnatic, they are running up against it here. They are coming from below. They are coming in a situation where they still do have a little bit of that responsibility, a little bit of that expectation to make it to the finals. But I was just having my headset off for a second there, and I could hear a lot of Dignitas chants.
And let's take a look at Dignitas, of course, the other team on the other side of this battlefield. And for all intents and purposes, I think a lot of people came into the bracket stage with some expectation behind Dignitas. It didn't quite go their way when it came to the first series that they played in the upper bracket. But needless to say, I think a lot of people are looking at them in the lower bracket to be one of the favorites down there.
Exactly. Like I said before, I really think, for me personally, their loss against Gen G was to an extent expected. The question was how much can they take from the series and how well do they present themselves there? Can they take a few maps off Gen G? Now, it turned out that Gen G was just too strong, but there were definitely sparks of life in Dignitas' playstyle. And they are going to...
They're going to try and, of course, take that play style and be a little bit different there, right there, as Genji was a bit annoying. You feeling better there, Caldor?
Yeah, the Swedish cookies are currently...
Those things tickle, man.
Yeah, and they're highly addictive, so yeah.
Yeah, for those who obviously everyone doesn't see behind our stage, we have like a little plate of cookies, and they are mostly Caldor.
Now, just to put that in perspective, I put them away because I didn't want to get tempted, and I have some very nice co-casters.
That's right.
I want to call out in particular Wolf at this point, who made sure that we got a full new plate with them, and he ate one and I ate the rest.
What a nice guy. Well, we did intentionally place them right in front of you, so that was very important as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
No problem. Of course, let's take a look at the map's picks and bans. There is Brax's Holdout gone. There is Dragonshire gone. We are going to be going to Infernal Shrines first. It's Europe versus Europe. I don't think there's too much surprise there, considering this tournament so far.
This is a very standard map, even though it did go to the very last map in the two in the last series, but it is still incredibly popular in every region. So not too many surprises. In terms of the bans as well, Dignitas have struggled on Dragonshire in the past. Braxis is a little bit unpredictable, and both of these teams have some interesting game history on it.
I have to actually just sorry, but to contradict that, because it really surprises me that Dignitas, did they ban Dragonshire? I missed that, but you just...
I think it was Dignitas who banned Dragonshire, yes.
Dignitas banned Braxis, I think, and Fnatic banned Dragonshire, because Dignitas has a 9-0 track record in Europe on this map, and picked it 7 times.
I'm getting mixed up with BOE.
Yeah, so...
Well,
yes, my mistake.
Okay. It's time now for the draft. Game number 1 here between Fnatic and Dignitas, a rematch of our grand finals from 2017.
So does that mean that Fnatic is calling as having Quack actually shot call for this tournament? Because that always comes back to the Bad Bunny versus Quack and who's doing all the shot calling, because Dragonshire was a battleground that Quack kind of tried to stay away from, but Bad Bunny had a lot of history on.
I think that plays part in it. As you said, they banned the maps. They banned that map 7 times. So Fnatic switched shot callers during the regular season, and with Quack they usually ban out Dragonshire because it's one of the maps where he doesn't feel comfortable in the way he calls, as he said.
Yeah.
When they played with Bad Bunny as the shot caller, they prefer to ban out Sky instead. But I feel it's also because it is by far Dignitas' best map, at least when we look at the European region, and for this match in particular, that's all that matters, I feel.
Dignitas thinking about their ban here. We've been seeing a lot of heroes in particular jumping up for our teams. Garrosh has been one that has been at strength for a lot, but so has Malfurion. Actually, Malfurion gets banned out as Dignitas takes it away, as they usually go with that ban route unless they have the first pick. If they have first pick, they actually pick up the Malfurion as soon as they can. So now Fnatic, what will you decide to choose?
It's very interesting when you see supports getting banned out between these two teams because they have some of the most prolific support players in the world, I would argue. Both of them are so flexible when it comes to the heroes, so it's really just banning high priority heroes at this point. You can't really target that.
The interesting part to me is that Dignitas is the team that bans Malfurion, because we've been talking a lot about how much they want that hero. With in the European League having a track record of 21 wins and 3 losses on Malf, they are by far the best European team when it comes to Malfurion play. Fnatic, on the other hand, prefers other supports. Now, Smexy plays Malfurion, but if you look at his stats within Europe, he only has 9 wins and 6 losses there. So that it's Dignitas who bans it out because they say, even with Fnatic preferring other heroes, they would still pick it away. It's just super cool.
Well, Hanzo comes out for Fnatic, which I'm excited for. Hopefully, Mayonnaise can play a little bit more Hanzo. He's had an opportunity in this tournament to show us a few more heroes that we don't normally see in League play. All that grinding finally being shown here on the big stage. His Hanzo and BOE was a major reason for their big victory over Method. Now, Genji and Sonya comes out for Dignitas. Sonya, pretty strong on this battleground, a high pick due to the ability to clear out shrines, but also allows for Wubby to do Wubby things, being able to split off in certain maps, push out the lanes if his opponent is not able to keep up with him. And Bad Binny will definitely have his hands full with Wubby.
Yeah, I really like the aggressive opening we're seeing from Dignitas. It still means they can go into a more passive tank if they want, but they have a solid side lane, they have great shrine clear, and they have good pressure for that Hanzo. So it puts a lot of pressure onto Breeze on the side of Fnatic and Bad Bunny, like you said, to keep that Hanzo nice and safe.
I'm personally a bit curious of how Fnatic plays it now. Hanzo is definitely a hero that they prefer to play on Infernal Shrines in particular. Normally, they run Stukov compositions here. That's one of their fallbacks, so we could see that later in the draft. But for the opening here, we're actually seeing a really nice setup. First of all, Blaze for the offlane, and also a lot of Shrine sustain for themselves. And then the new Diablo. And especially in the context of Fnatic, Diablo is a hero that you have to highlight on several angles. Before the rework, Diablo was rarely played by Fnatic simply because every team recognized that Breeze is so OP on that hero that you just have to ban it on this map. So that's why Fnatic never really got to play him. Now we have him in the rework, and I personally can't wait to see how much of the impact Breeze can have it.
And I also feel like this composition gives us a shimmer of what we saw in BOE, where if they're going for a Hanzo, they want to make sure they have solid protection around the Hanzo. So Diablo and Blaze immediately fit into that. What we saw as support was an Uther on BOE. Don't mind if we see that later on, but they want to react and see what exactly Dignitas is going to get first.
And this is also a Stukov setup for Fnatic. You have Blaze already, so you can immediately head into Stukov, and Dignitas knows that. Wouldn't shock me if they opt into banning or picking Stukov for themselves.
And Dignitas, I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban a Phoenix here. If you look at the composition for Fnatic already, it sets up especially for that with the compositions we've been seeing with Lightning Breath into Purification Salvo, add the slows from Blaze. But instead, it is the Falstad, getting rid of that because, for good reason, Quack is very good on this hero, and it is actually how Fnatic were able to take some games earlier with the nice Falstad backdoor.
That is an element that is considered when you are playing against Fnatic, is looking at Quack's hero pool and seeing what you can take away from him. At least the power picks. Genji already being one of those taken away as Dignitas grabs it for themselves. Falstad being banned out. Other heroes that are still floating around here for Quack, he can play Gul'dan. We've seen him play some Cassie in the past. We've even seen him on the Grey main a couple of times as well. So he still has options, but it is something to consider when you go through those bans.
There goes the Stukov.
From Fnatic.
Fnatic, okay. Interesting ban.
I agree with you two that I think it would have gone very well with their composition, but I can understand the ban due to the fact that there's going to be so much pressure onto Diablo and Blaze, especially getting down that bunker. So if they are forced into a tight enclosed fighting position like can happen on Shrines, then Stukov can really ruin Blaze's day because it's such a reaction-based hero when it comes to dropping that bunker.
His ability to disrupt your game plan in the middle of a team fight is just unmatched, it feels like, when it comes to a lot of supports. You do have Deckard, but he has to burn out that stay a while and listen, which is a bit of a harder initiation compared to what you have with Stukov. And Dignitas thinking about the 3rd and 4th pick. We've been seeing a lot of Murd in this tournament, especially when it's with Sonya here, so I wouldn't mind seeing a Murd on this battleground if Dignitas wants to get aggressive. They will be lacking on a wave clear, but they can subsidize that with a mage pickup or even something a little bit more unconventional. We've had Junkrat in the past from them as well.
Now, they usually don't play Mirrodin on Infernal Shrines. It could pop up now since it has risen in priority, but Dignitas was always a team where JPL likes to play Mirrodin. It's mostly that he plays it on maps like Dragonshire.
True.
So, and we have a few maps actually essentially where he likes to play it. House of Doom is another one. But on Infernal Shrines, they normally don't go for Muradin as a hero. They don't seem really as a high priority here. And with Garrosh still open, not banned out, not taken, they deviate over. And they take Greymane, so they're actually targeting to an extent Falstad when Greymane banned or taken away.
Yeah.
They target Quacknix a bit here.
So like you said, they're targeting Quacknix, and they continue down this path of very aggressive team fights. Taunt into, of course, the Greymane Sonya Genji burst. It is once again even more requirements and even more pressure being put onto the front line and especially onto the support, which 2 are banned out already for a Smexy here. He is getting limited and he needs something for that burst protection. Like you said, the Uther is kind of being driven towards here almost.
I don't think this makes he's going to have a problem with the hero pool here, to be honest. His Stukov, as you said, is like his go-to, but we have seen a lot of Karazim, for example, from him, which he really likes to play. He flexed into Rega when there was need for the team. It didn't really shine too much on the hero that they're picking right now, at least in the regular season, on Uther. So they have a negative track record of him, but he's still able to keep Hanzo alive with him. And of course, at any tournament that we have, Mene will at least use one opportunity to bring his Kalthas back.
Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep, and that means that it's likely going to be Quack on the Hanzo. So even though we did see Mene on it, and it was a big factor, as Tim mentioned earlier, the Kael'thas coming out here gives them great Shrine steal potential and also some sieging potential. Whereas Dignitas are going to want to dive, Fnatic are now a little bit more capable of staying further back and forcing Dignitas to dive through their front line.
The fantastic twist of story in 2017 Grand Final, Kael'thas could almost be pinned as one of the downfalls of Fnatic. Dignitas in the end. But now Fnatic is going to be using it for the side of Mene as he was using it before.
Now, just to put that a bit in perspective, when we had the entire 2018 European HGC season, nobody else picked Kalthas. It was only Fnatic that played the hero, and they played Kalthas 6 times, and they won 4 out of those 6 games. So they actually have a really good track record there. I think one of the matches they lost was against Dignitas, and before that, they were looking absolutely stellar with him. Normally, the problem with a hero is that when there's a lot of dive against you, you are afraid that you will be taken out. Mene in particular said that after the rework, he still has some survivability problems.
Yeah.
Now he's going up against Genji, Sonya, Greymane, and has to be careful of Garrosh. Not going to be an easy game for him by any means.
Another point here is that Alex comes in for that 5th pick for Dignitas. We actually don't get to see Zilia much on Alex Straza, so I'm actually kind of excited to see her here. We know the strains for her on this Battleground, Infernal Shrines, controlling the Shrines, moving into Dragon Queen and clearing it out. But there is going to be an issue of the CC train that is going to be coming in from Fnatic. They have a lot of control, so Alex will struggle definitely when it comes to that regard.
Time for predictions.
A lot of times I usually just lean towards the bunker team if it's against a dive comp, but I think the dive from Dignitas is really, really good. They have a great dive comp here, so I'm going with them here, and the fact is their support can even follow with Cleansing Flame, so they don't even have to worry about going too deep.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say Dignitas, but I'm lacking some synergy with Garrosh at this point. Normally, you look at a root or at a silence, something that really locks the target down. So for game 1, I'm going with Fnatic. I thought there would be a chance of having a bit of a blowout by Dignitas, but I really like the comp that Fnatic has. If Mene can stay alive, I think they can take it.
I actually kind of echo the thoughts here of Caldora. I'm looking at Dignitas' composition, and while it's pretty decent, the CC and the control, the ability to force an engagement at any point is incredibly strong. So I'm actually going to go with Fnatic on this one.
It's a difficult choice for me. As much as I love seeing Kael'thas, I'm going, Philum Lord, Philum Lord, Philum Lord. I love that.
He talks a lot about los salamis.
He loves meat.
Salami, Arcellanore.
Italian salami.
Close enough. As much as I do love Kael'thas, I think I'm going to have to go with Dignitas for reasons. Okay.
I mean, they are the favorite, like by a huge margin here, so.
Yeah, it seems that way. It seems that way. Let's see what you guys think. 47% in the Twitch chat. Very close.
I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
After our European season, Dignitas dominating everything. It's really just the draft that sways me towards Fnatic, so I expect the chat to just echo the European standings a bit more.
Well, let's head over to our commentary team and see what they think about the standings and see what they think going into this series. What do you guys?
Ooh, Dignitas versus Fnatic. I'm pretty pumped. Nobody wants to hear this guy talk.
Oh gosh, it's happening again. It happened to Jayhow and now me. No,
Bye.
He's gone again?
I'm in a solo cast.
I can fix that for you. It's your cable.
yeah, but it's
You have to hold it.
yeah.
I ran into the same
God.
problem.
This is the best.
We're working on it here, slowly but surely, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to set Caldor up to you.
I'm literally holding the cable in my hands here. Apparently, I can't move whatsoever, so we're figuring it out.
I mean, to be fair, there's many moments I want to mute Dread anyway, but like, that's how it's going to go. All right, guys, have fun with it.
Thank you, I think.
I'm afraid to move.
I would be too.
I'm terrified here. That wasn't me. Okay, we're doing some things. We're figuring it out here, ladies and gentlemen. Beyond the cable kind of conundrum here, I am very, very excited for this matchup here. EU versus EU.
Yes.
Go ahead.
As an elimination match as well. Fnatic versus Dignitas, an old rivalry, and we'll see who gets to continue on. In the blue, Quacknix playing Hanzo, Breeze playing Diablo, Bad Benny on Blaze, Smexy on Uther, and Fnatic playing Kael'thas. Give it up for Fnatic!
And here, oh man, here we go. In the red, it is going to be Dignitas with Snitch on Genji, Wubby on Sonya, Poik playing the Greymane, Garrosh played by JPL, and Alex Straza played by Zalia. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Team Dignitas.
A lot of Dignitas fans here, despite it being in Sweden. I'm excited for this crowd, for this match. It's going to be an excellent one. Team Dignitas having Zalia play that Alex Straza, so pumped to get to see that, but also Mene has played a plethora of mages now on Infernal Shrines throughout this tournament. We've seen his Gul'dan, his Li Ming, we've seen his Jaina even, and now we get to see his Kael'thas. He's played pretty much everything on this map except Kael'thas, I think. We're still dealing with some cable issues, but we're working on it, we're working on it. So Team Dignitas starting their 4-man rotation up down. We'll see if any kill pressure can come in from Fnatic, since they do have a lot of chain crowd control that the analyst desk talked about with the Diablo, Kael'thas, and Uther. So it's very important that Team Dignitas keep an eye on Fnatic and try to keep one up on the rotations, which they're trying to do by picking up their camp early. No dice just yet, guys. Can we give Dread some love?
Hello?
Oh, there we go.
Hello? Is this me? Am I working?
I think so.
I think we've got it here.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. We got some EU versus EU. Not too much to say, really, when it comes to the beginning.
Okay, I lied. They can't hear you.
Dang it.
Dread is so sad. He's in the casting box and no one can hear him. All right, camps are out. Nope, nothing working. No dice. But Dignitas will keep this going in the rotations as we keep going and trying to fix this. Dignitas gets set up on the bottom. Do Fnatic want to invade this now? You have Uther starting to come down. Kael'thas still staying in the mid. The top mid rotation working out better for Team Dignitas to allow them the freedom to bring down their 4-man and get that. I'm just enraptured watching this try to get fixed now. Oh, Benny finds them. There's the chain crowd control we're talking about now. Is this going to be first blood? As Wubby gets slammed into the wall, the crowd goes wild for a Fnatic first blood. And that sets him up very well to be able to rotate up to the top, try to get started on the shrines. As it's going to be activating in 30 seconds. Clear out on the camp and bottoms being done by Hanzo as Fnatic. Just make sure that they have control of that top lane. Head over potentially and get their shaman. If they don't, Team Dignitas will have a little bit of a better setup around that shrine as they get Sonya back up toward the top lane. And remember, this is Alex Straza on Infernal Shrine, so it's very important that Team Dignitas can get to the shrine in time, get a better position so that they can get the setup and get more of the skeletal defenders.
Hello. Here we go. We just compensate through the same mic. You know, we got this figured out. We got the shrine started here on the top half of the battleground here, but we'll see how much focus Fnatic actually wants to prioritize onto it. Again, it's a very common strategy within EU to kind of forfeit it over if you don't think you have the upper hand, but Dignitas got a 4-man rotation, so I'm expecting a skirmish here.
Yeah, especially without Alex Straza. This is a shrine-taking composition. You look at that, plus the Greymane and the Sonya. It's all about those shrines. Yes, they may not have the same kind of synergy they would have liked with the Garrosh, but the Garrosh can play more of a defensive, of a peel, and just zoning to allow for Dignitas to get this point, the 20 to 25 range, where they can feel confident with the Alex Straza. I expect Fnatic to then just try to push out the other lanes and get some sort of experience advantage, which is the rotation we're starting to see.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hear anything you just said because I was so distracted by the cables, but we're figuring it out here. Skeletal defenders are going to be picked up here for Dignitas, and the Punisher threat is going to be a bit of a problem, but it is the first Punisher for the game. You know, it's not too shabby. It's just, can Dignitas get a lot more out of this? And with the Greymane into the off lane, that's going to draw some kind of aggro here from Fnatic.
frozen Punisher starts to bear down this top lane. But with Grayman and Genji soaking in the other lanes, this is more just trying to get the front wall, make sure that they can keep up with the damage done by Fnatic. And with the experience there, but a flip over, JPL in trouble now, as Indomitable, but that's not gonna stop you from this gate. We go into Dragon Queen just for the extra heals, and they're keeping JPL alive. Now the roots go down from the Punisher, and JPL lives through all odds. And Dig will be able to disengage. Okay, all right. It's all me, guys. Give me your love. We're gonna need it. Thank you, I love you guys too. So Team Dignitas get the first shrine, but Fnatic, in making sure that they could rotate appropriately, still made sure that they could get not only potentially this kill, as they take out Genji, but making sure they can get some push out in the lanes, trying to get to heroic abilities faster. Should they be able to do that, they might be able to get a better setup on the next shrine and not have to go up against the Alexstrasza, which was a concern from Team Dignitas. So Dig are gonna come in now and check out to see if they can stop Fnatic from getting any more done, trying to make sure that they can keep up in experience. But Fnatic really want to get their heroic abilities. They have so much zoning possibilities for them once they get their heroics. Actually, that's a really interesting level 7 talent for Diablo, who was hoping he could get a pick on Jay. Getting Malevolence here as an auto attack. I wonder how this will change up some of the builds later on for him. For the moment, it's usually all about the his Fire Stomp from pretty much every single talent on. Team Dignitas, just waiting things out. Gonna see if they can get a better push down in the bottom lane by picking up these this camp. It's a little bit risky considering the fact that Fnatic have heroic abilities. I was wondering if this would be the case. Fnatic have Diablo, but so far I don't think we've seen a single iteration of Apocalypse this entire tournament. It's been a lot about the zoning and the combos that you can get from Lightning Breath, especially with things like Purification Salvo, but not picking up the Phoenix here. Instead getting Mene's Mage of Kael Thas. We're gonna see the old classic of the Dragon's Arrow. Slam into the wall. Snitch has been bodied this game. Has to X-Strike out barely over the wall. But there is gonna be the combo. The Dragon's Arrow with the Apocalypse underneath melts through Poik, forcing out the Cleansing Flame. Maybe not necessarily needed. Blaze wasn't here to be able to jet propulsion behind that, but could have been a big concern for Team Dignitas. So they go ahead and use that very long cooldown. And it's a very safe cooldown for Alexstrasza as we get ready for the next shrine. But having Apocalypse and Dragon's Arrow down is gonna be one nice thing for Team Dignitas as we get ready for the next shrine. And Dragon Queen is still available. Camp versus camp in the top lane. But Sonya may try to go up and push that, take out the camp before rotating to the shrine. With Fnatic, they're not going to allow Dignitas to get another free shrine with their Alexstrasza, with the Dragon Queen. They're quick to jump on the shrine and start getting the Skeletal Defenders going. Sonya's even going to come in too. It's all about trying to catch up with Skeletal Defenders down with a Whirlwind. Dignitas take the lead, trying to get to that golden point where they can use the Dragon Queen and clear this out. There it is right now. Gravity Labs picks up. Breeze dives in. JPL in danger. Can't stay alive from this. Azalea was trying to get into Dragon Queen, but that takes time for them. So now, although Dragon Queen is on this point, the Dragon's Arrow comes in. They're trying to use the wing buffet to knock back and keep Poik alive. He dives in using the Khazra camp to try to get away from Breeze. But things are falling apart for Team Dignitas on this point. They use the Dragon Queen. They just need a few more of these Skeletal Defenders. But even if they get this, they will not have Poik potentially with a flip back in. Fnatic get another kill. But this does allow for a free clear, mostly, though Team Dignitas are trying to do what they can. Breeze goes back in again. He has been all over Snitch this game. That's the third kill he's been able to get just by the positioning. Team Dignitas have to respect this Diablo. Yes, you don't have devastating charge, but he can still wreck you, pushing you into the walls like that. But Dignitas, this is a team that is so disciplined. They've always been able to make miracle comebacks from behind. They have done it quite a bit throughout part 2. And even in their series versus Fnatic, earlier in the league phase. This was something that they were able to do, falling behind in some of the games, and then being able to bring it back versus Fnatic. Sorry for the solo cast, my friends. We're still working on getting Dread's headset fixed. But thank you so much for bearing with us. All right, so now we're gonna try something new. We're gonna play musical headsets for a minute.
In the downtime here, maybe just get a breathing, kind of moment there for Gilly Witters. We're again still trying to figure it out, but for now, Dignitas, dealing with a lot of the macro pressure that Fnatic's been able to unleash, and Dignitas, struggling to identify how to handle a majority of these skirmishes. But for now, Dignitas is going to have quite a bit of control and pressure there through the mid lane with their double camp, painting the map red into their favor. Gonna see what kind of fight they might be able to bring here to Fnatic in the downtime with the pressure. Nice groundbreaker opportunity. Breeze gonna go in with the shadow charge. Snitch though got the cyber agility out and a nice flip back in, but look at that collapse from above. I guess it's just Azalea, not too threatening there. She is a dragon, but somehow doesn't have the same bite as the majority of the dragons we have there. Shout out to Sendragosa. But for now, Dignitas here is just going to be able to keep up the macro sense. Infernal Shrines is one of the few battlegrounds where you can kind of get away with not overly committing to the objective itself, or even be willing to sacrifice a couple of kills when it comes to those skirmishes, because experience is so available, I think is the best way to describe it here on a majority of the battleground. Dig though, not really making anything too aggressive happen in the downtime, and I can't help but feel like, for a Europe versus Europe opener here in day number 2 in Jönköping, Sweden at MSB, it's not too surprising to be able to see it slow and steady here, a bit more calculated. This is oftentimes what we do see out of the European region. Fnatic though, maybe trying to get a collapse. Benny sharking around on the side. Snitch will be able to sniff that out with that kind of rotation back. A good decision making from them. We're just gonna have to wait it out in here into the top shrine, as I think we've got ourselves another kind of opportunity here to get the swap in. Got ourselves a Shaman Cam available for either team. 16 closing in for Fnatic. It's going to be very difficult for them really to allow Dignitas to be able to catch up to the 16 talent here. They're gonna do their best in the downtime. 15 seconds out from that top shrine. But Fnatic, they're cutting off the transition for Dignitas. Keeping them kind of stuck onto the bottom half. Genji questioning if he wants to get the rotation out. Sonya here for the solo clear. And there's the 16 talent here for Fnatic.
Oh, Wubby gets found just before he could retreat. Breeze takes him out. Taking down Sonya, and that was set up so beautifully by Team Dignitas. They had pushed out the top lane, hoping that they could buy some time, even questioning if they could do the mid, or do the same in the mid with their Genji to force that out, slow down the rotations of Fnatic, and give them time to get enough skeletal to finish. So once Team Dignitas rotated up, they could quickly get Alex Strauss onto the point, and again be able to claim another Punisher. But this time the respawn timers are just far too long. So Team Dignitas will have to give the shrine, but they're gonna get a lot done in the meantime using that Greymane and the siege that he gets with the 40% extra damage in the Worgen form. They will continue pushing down in this bot lane, but JPL, very important, anchoring. Fnatic just checking to see if that Khazra camp was the play for Team Dignitas. They go for the fight, flip over. Breeze charges in, has the devastating charge for extra damage there. There's the Dragon's Arrow. No APOC to follow up though. Purely just to disengage APOC. Dragon Queen was used here. Has a little bit longer duration with the Draconic Discipline. Nice stop from that. Breeze not getting the combo that he would have liked there. Smexy hoping that he could follow up now. Look at Mene. Can he get a gravity lapse to get the start in for Fnatic? It looks like no. Team Dignitas will back off. 39 and holding is the shine for Fnatic. Wubby's gonna see if they can maybe try to get Fnatic to force this when they're not in a good position, considering the fact that everyone from Fnatic's in the bottom. And there they go.
Round 2 here, as we got Fnatic with that Punisher. What can they make happen here with it? even though the Battleground, you know, Dignitas has been able to make a lot happen structurally, that puts a lot more pressure here for Fnatic into the later stages to be able to get that siege out, make these rotations a bit more difficult. Really big appreciation for Fnatic constantly using, you know, the lack of that third turret that exists here in 2018 and trying to capitalize on it, especially with the kill potential opportunities they have between not only the APOC Dragon's Arrow combo that Gilly has been highlighting, but then also Kel'Thas is a very, very high impact hero. If he can get a flank onto a Gravity Lapse, the kill potential is really high, especially into Alexstrasza with those territorial heals. Becomes rather predictable here, but Fnatic not going to siege up too much there due to the counter pressure Dignitas has applied towards that bottom half. Not going to full respawn though. Dignitas only going to send the Sonya and Alexstrasza to deal with the Punisher. In the meanwhile, it's going to be a camp stack here for Fnatic. Top 4 going down for Fnatic, and now mid is going to set it to near dead even when it comes to the structural integrity here of the two teams. But Dignitas, the question is, when do they really want to kind of bring a full skirmish? Because for now it's been kind of dancing, kind of skirting. This is normally a situation where I'd ask Gilly, you know, if she agrees with that kind of decision making, but in fact that is not going to be an option. She threw out a thumbs up, so I'm going to say that's a flat go. We're good on that one. Snitch, Shadow Charge against the wall. Dragons are actually going to get thrown out. The Kel'Thas combo comes through, and that is already going to be a kill here onto Dignitas, not able to keep themselves alive. That taunt from JPL draws out the Divine Shield, but once again, Fnatic find themselves a kill and a pick and control over the Battleground. And now they're at a point where, because how dominant Fnatic has been through these skirmishes, you know, the lack of structures that they were able to get into the earlier stages, Dignitas, it almost feels a little bit of what we experienced in the last series between Tempo Storm and Ballistic. Tempo hit moments where, yes, even though they were kind of moving around the map and it wasn't looking like they were losing that hard, they really weren't gaining anything either, afraid to kind of address a full 5-on-5 skirmish. And competitive Heroes of the Storm at this level, you have to be able to win a team fight if you are going to be able to lock in a game. But Fnatic here with the crowd behind them. I just got heads up that apparently my mic works.
And I don't know what we would cheer for more. Fnatic doing well on home soil,
Hello?
or Dread having a mic.
Are we alive? Hello? Yeah, let's go! All right, we've got ourselves a game here, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, I just moved half an inch.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. I don't know, I'm just gonna stand still and hope nothing happens.
You're good there.
We're good.
It's like an antenna.
I'm not moving. Can
You
somebody
can't
turn
move.
off that light, because I can't move.
Put your arms up correctly. All right. 20 here for Fnatic, and these are big power spikes later on for a Kel'Thas. As we've been able to see Team Dignitas being very respectful of that. Though Team Dignitas looking for 20 of their own, haven't lost any keeps, and as we always know for Team Dignitas, as long as they have keeps, they have hope. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if they have keeps, they can make the comeback happen.
I believe that they will have the tools available to be able to make that happen here, as they're going to be able to round out the 20 talents here. I'm going to be honest, I'm not totally sure my mic is working.
It's in and out. Yeah. That's okay, we can keep swapping out the headset, that's fine. All right, Dignitas almost with their level 20 Storm tier talents. And that's a big one for Alexstrasza. For a lot of these, Titanic Might may be the choice here, maybe cooldown reduction on taunt if Team Dignitas want to try to combo out for a lot of kills. Titanic Might, actually Blessing of the Red. It's not going for double Dragon Queen if you can get the Cleansing Flame, hitting the right amount of people, but this will try to help people stay alive. You know, Snitch has been constantly being picked off by Breeze, or by, Breeze, and that only gets scarier as now Breeze has Hellgate. So this is a lot more like the old Diablo that we used to see pre-rework, a lot more about his engagement potential.
'20s is here, Shrine gonna be started. And the fight has to be here for Dignitas. Getting a small advantage when looking at those skeletal defenders. Eventually the shaman going to be extremely problematic, but we're still about 20 seconds out for that. Dragon Queen already going to be popped here for Zalia. 13 skeletal defenders. APOC actually going to go down the combo here onto Wubby, but for now it's not going to net a kill. They get into the bunker, hold their own for a moment there, but Dignitas is getting shredded here into the skirmish. JPL trying to kite out. He gets the Groundbreaker 13 shield and he actually survives. Dignitas, they hold their own, but they do not win when it comes to the HP around that objective. Major heal hit there with the abundance. Kel'Thas double zoning there with a huge empowered Q from from Mene. 25 skeletal defenders. Dignitas needs to turn this around. They're going to hold their own with the pressure on that Shaman camp on top. This is an all-in moment for them. Shadow Charge goes through with the combo and the devastating charge. Breeze locks it down. That is going to be 2 members of Dignitas deleted here. Fnatic pick themselves up a Punisher and likely a keep minimum behind it.
Initial combo for Fnatic didn't hit. The Dragon's Arrow was avoided and the APOC after it, but still Mene just wreaked havoc with this level 20 Kael'Thas. He did so much damage, and Team Dignitas having to use the Dragon Queen defensively just to try to survive the fight. They had nothing left at their disposal after that, and they finally lost the Shrine. Fnatic now on the warpath, looking to take down this keep, looking to get more. There's no Greymane, there's no Sonya, and that is a ton of damage that Dignitas needs if they're gonna force back Fnatic here. Fnatic, get onto the core, the Punisher leap, Indomitable used by JPL. He and Snitch and Zalia trying to keep this from going down, but I think it is just far too much. We're at 50% and continuing to fall as Fnatic, feeling confident with the crowd behind them, take out Team Dignitas in game 1. And that is a bit of a scare, because when we came in to this series, to this tournament, Team Dignitas, they were supposed to be the team, the only team to contend with the Koreans, perhaps overshadowed a little bit by Tempo Storm and their success versus Ballistics, but now facing a European team, and sometimes that being the kryptonite, especially a Fnatic that has felt so good, so dominant, and with nothing to lose in this tournament, it's scary for Team Dignitas.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what this game has looked like from beginning to end. But as you said, the fact that Dignitas was a lot of people's Western hope at having any chance against Gen G, and some of the shakiness that we've experienced from them as we've gone through the group stage and now on to, the more dire playoff stage, it's a bit of a grim start. That being said, our 2 European analysts, the commentators for the HGC in the European region, broke it down, saying that they felt like with that draft, it felt uncharacteristic-ish, coming out from Dignitas, and a lot of control there for Fnatic. So, I can't help but feel like that was a moment where even within the European play, it was something a bit of what we expected. But that is going to be it for us, unless you got something else you want to add to this. No? I'm sorry. With a solo mic, it's a little bit weird. I've never had to ask that. We're going to go ahead and throw it over the panel and see some of their thoughts about that game.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, a bit of an unexpected outcome realistically here with Fnatic being effectively pretty dominant here in our first game coming in, Tetra.
I could not have been more wrong about how I thought that game would go. I really thought with Dignitas' comp that they would go maximum aggression, it would be an all-in, and they would be the ones getting the burst. Turns out, just take a skimmy-ism here, Fnatic just kind of put Dignitas in the bin, with Diablo just absolutely wrecking them. It was some of the most aggressive play, getting all those picks I've ever seen.
Yep.
Breeze just read the developer comments. Is that like, we want to take the one shot away from Diablo, and he goes, hold my beer, I can fix it.
Yeah, right.
Goes in and just bodies. It's absolutely crazy. And I mean, we said as we were heading into the draft, I came into the series and I was absolutely prepared to go, okay, Dignitas is taking this. They're taking that serious. Fnatic is going to struggle. And if lucky, Fnatic can take a map. And then that draft comes out, and I'm looking at them like, where's the CC for Dignitas? Where's the follow-up for the Garrosh throw? And Fnatic has everything they want with the one thing, can Kael'Thas stay alive? And they played it fantastic and take the first win. Yeah, I'm actually worried for Dignitas at this point.
Yeah, it looks great. Trecha, let's check in with your replay, see what you've got.
There's only one replay, and it's actually the only real fight we actually had in this game, and no one died. You can see here, let's pause. As you saw just then, let's wind it back a little bit and we'll run it forward in slow motion. You can see here, the Dragon Arrow coming in from below, heading right for Zalia, but a great pullback. Dodging even the APOC is an incredible move by Team Dignitas to avoid the majority of the fight, but at this point, Breeze is in. Breeze has put Quacktix in danger, but Smexy is too on point, protecting him down below, and by this point, our Snitch escapes off to the side. Alex Straza's Cleansing Flame saves the rest of Team Dignitas, making the most of that Garrosh armor. An insane fight by both teams. But the fact is, that was basically the only full fight we had, right up until where Fnatic just waltzed into the last objective directly after that and just shredded 2 members of Dignitas.
I think beyond that fight actually was the moment where Breeze, especially with them play onto Greymane, perfect angles. Not only hits him against the wall, turns him around, hits him against the shrine, and then kills him. That's a small little little area for you to actually get that follow. So it was great play.
That's Breeze for you, right?
Yeah.
He finds the smallest things that you can do in a game, and he pushes it to the limit, and he punishes you as much as he can. That's why we enjoy watching him week in and week out when it comes to tank play. But again, just coming back to this draft, what I love so much is that this Hanzo factor that we keep talking about. How do you get to Hanzo? How do you get the kill on him? And we had some tools available for Dignitas, but Fnatic did everything in their pocket to say, here's a couple speed bumps, here's a couple more. Too much control.
Yeah. Kaldor, final thoughts before we move on?
I think if Diablo ever gets a tattoo, it has to be a tattoo of Breeze.
That wouldn't, yeah. This was your final thought? All right, well, that's it.
He just wanted to get a punchline in there. He's getting funny this weekend. Kaldor.
All right.
Hey, just because you don't understand the jokes doesn't mean that they are funny. In Germany, they're lying on the floor right now.
No, they're not.
Save me, Claire.
All right, we're going to a short break here, ladies and gentlemen, to get everything fully fixed and good to go. Then when we return, it's going to be game number 2 here between Fnatic and Team Dignitas.